Okay, welcome. So we're going to kick this off with sketching the butterfly. We'll do our initial sketch, and I'm using the white colored pencil for this step on my black illustration board. And we're going to start by drawing in one of the wings. So I'll draw this curved line down towards the middle. I'm trying to place this butterfly in the middle of my canvas. Next, we will draw the lower part of this wing, and this lower part of the wing overlaps the upper part a little bit. Next, we'll draw the other wing, and this one is partially hidden by the front wing, the one that we just drew. So we'll only be drawing part of this second wing, and we'll stop our line right when we get down to where all of these wings meet at the front bottom. And right here, we'll start drawing the body. We'll draw a small oval for the upper part of the body. And then behind it, going parallel, or in other words, beside the lower wing, we will draw the tail part. So this will extend down beyond the body oval. And it doesn't go right flush with the wing. It separates a little bit down near the bottom, as you can see. And we will also draw in a little circle for the head. Now, after reaching this point, I took a look at the entire drawing and decided to make one small adjustment on this wing so that all the angles looked good. So we're going to grab our white Posca marker and start drawing and coloring in these different shapes on the wing, and these come almost all the way together to form a type of puzzle or mosaic of types on the wing, and in the long run each of these shapes will be colored a different color. The reason we're starting off with white and not the actual color, such as green, orange, is because sometimes when working on black paper or illustration board like we're doing, the colorful Posca markers tend to sink into the paper and get absorbed. and you have to add a bunch of layers in order to get the color to be vibrant. Posca markers are somewhat transparent, although not very much, but by adding a white background that then reflects through the second and third layer that will be colorful, these colors will look even more vibrant because the white is shining through them and not just black paper. So with these I'm adding in about 2 layers to get the white to be nice and bright and solid. And I'm allowing each layer time to dry before I go on to the next. Because if not, and you go in for a second layer before the first layer has dried, then the first layer can gum up your Posca marker. So we'll do this for the 3 segments of the wing that are visible on our little butterfly. Alright, we're going to start coloring in the wings with our Posca markers, and we're going to use some nice bright colors. I'm going to start out with the light blue marker, and what I will do is just pick some of the shapes and color them in solid. I'm going to try to not pick any that will be touching. In other words, I don't want to have one blue shape next to another one. I want to have each color separated by another color. So we'll be working with light blue, pink, orange, green, coloring in these shapes. In this video, we're going to start working with some of our shadows and highlights. So we'll be starting out with the shadows, and we'll only add these to the light blue parts of the wing for now. We'll be using a dark blue Posca marker. And as you can see in the video, I'm starting at the bottom of the light blue shapes and dragging these lines up at an angle about halfway up at the shape. And I'm working along what would be the bottom edge of each shape. Now that this dark blue shadow has been added in, we're going to go in with a light green marker and work on the green shapes. What we'll do this time, instead of working from the bottom, is we'll work from the top going down, and this is for the highlights on these shapes. Now for the pink and yellow shapes, we will use a white marker, and again we're starting at the top of the shape, working down at an angle with this spaced out line work or hatch work. I'll add a little bit of this white to the very top edge of the light blue shapes. Next, we'll grab a yellow marker and we'll add a highlight to the orange segments along the very top, just like we did with the white. Alright, so we're going to work on some mid-tones, highlights, and shadows in this video. So I'll grab my orange Posca marker and focus on the yellow areas. So I'll start at the bottom, similar to how I did the blue shadows, and work upwards with these patchwork lines. And this is just to add a bit of a mid-tone to the yellow so we can break it up a little bit. Next, I'll grab my white and add a very thin streak to the blue, orange, and green shapes just for a glimmer of highlight. Next, we'll grab the dark blue again and go in and add some shadows to the pink areas, working from the bottom up about halfway. Alright, so we're going to grab our indigo blue colored pencil, number 901, and we'll use this to do a bit of shading on the lower part of some of these shapes. So in this video you'll see me going in on the lower section, in other words opposite from the white highlight area on each shape, and working softly with the side of my pencil, building up my shade little bit at a time. And what I'm trying to do is create a bit of a roundness. So picture bumper lights on a car. On some cars they're a bit round, they stick out and they have an edge. They have an area where the light glows more and an area where it glows less. So that's what I'm trying to mimic and do on these butterfly wings. So just watch the ones I do. I do the blue ones, the green, and the pink. Alright, so we're going to grab a blue Posca marker and we're going to add in the outline of the wing and also color in between the shapes on the wing. So you might have to add more than one layer to get the blue to cover. Now that the blue has had time to dry, I'm going to grab my yellow Posca marker and add a thin line to the very edge of the wing. And again, you may have to add in more than one layer to get it to cover well. Finally, we'll grab an orange Posca marker and we will add an orange edge to the back of the wings. Alright, so we're going to grab our blue colored pencil again and do a bit of shading on the back wing and the lower part of the front wing. We want those to be a bit subdued and pushed towards the background and lower half so that the main upper front wing stands out the most. So I'm using soft layers with a soft pressure on the pencil. So we want to think of these three sections of wings as being bright, subdued, and shaded. So each one incrementally gets darker the further away it is from the main part of the main wing. Alright, in this video we're going to color in the body and add shading to it with our Posca markers. So I'll grab this dark blue Posca and color the body in solid and then let it thoroughly dry before adding more layers. Next, we'll grab this orange Posca and add in these rings or curved lines around the body to show the different segments and where they divide. We'll also run a line under the tail along the bottom edge. We'll then go in with a yellow and color over that orange, over the top half of those orange lines on the body. And this yellow is to show a bit of a highlight or area that's reflecting light off of the wing. And we will also add some of the head details, such as the eyes and antenna. Now at the upper part of that yellow that we just added, I will add a little speck of white to be the ultimate highlight. Next we'll go in again with orange and we'll draw in the bent legs. Even though I haven't narrated it, you may notice I go in and add in secondary layers to the yellows, whites, and oranges here and there. Now what we'll do with our yellow is add in these little specks on the upper part of the segments of the body in between the lines to add a bit more of a glint on the butterfly. Finally, we'll wrap up with grabbing our indigo blue colored pencil and adding a bit of shading to the lower part of the body, just so it's a little bit darker down there and it looks a bit more three-dimensional. In this final video, we'll go in with a white Posca marker and add a few more highlights to the wings on the leading edge, and a few more white highlights you will see me add in here and there, and that will about wrap up our drawing. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this class and were able to learn something from it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to start a discussion in the discussions tab below this video, and I will be happy to answer your questions. If you would like to support me, please check out my website at www.andysartitude.com, and feel free to visit me on Instagram and Facebook, where you can see daily updates of my artwork at Andy's Artitude. Stick around here and follow me, because in the coming weeks I will be uploading more classes. That's been it for now. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next class.